Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited for the topic of today's video because it's been what's most on my mind with respect to my own personal development. It's what is most resonating with me, and I just wanted to share it in case, my sharing helped anybody else. So I read a statistic this week that this week of February 15th, so the middle of February, 6 weeks into the new year, is the week where gym membership goes down, fast food consumption goes up, i.e. where like over 80% of Americans completely just abandon all of their quote-unquote New Year's resolutions. And it startled me to read this year because it is the first year that hasn't happened to me because of a system I've been using. And I'll talk about that briefly at the end of the video. But what I really wanted to address is that in a society that really glamorizes instant success and overnight sensations and things like that, basically the idea of slow and steady and imperfect progress is almost by default stigmatized, or at the very least it's kind of dismissed because there's nothing alluring about it. And I know for myself, up until this year, even subconsciously, I've been drawn to the idea of super fast, dramatic results in my life. And of course, as we all know, because we've all read profiles and biographies of really successful people, the biggest successes are the people that slowly but surely made consistent progress behind the scenes before the one incident that basically boosted their popularity, boosted their fame. You hear about it, a singer that perfects her craft for years and years and is picked up by an agent one day, or a blogger who is toiling behind the scenes and making no money and then is retweeted by a famous celebrity. We've all heard those stories, and we've probably all heard, I know I have, the sentiment of luck is where preparation meets opportunity. But I think reconciling that and making preparation plus opportunity tangible in our own lives is where I've failed in the past, and probably a lot of other people have too. And that's why a lot of us still can't really capitalize on that equation, and why overwhelmingly there's still over 80% of people that abandon their goals by 6 weeks into the new year. And the system I'm using is based on a book called Cultivate by the blogger Lara Casey, and essentially she writes about setting goals and cultivating what matters in your life from the perspective of how she's learned how to cultivate a garden in her own life. And if you haven't heard, a garden is actually a commonly used metaphor or analogy that I've heard in the personal growth space. No one has done it, in my opinion, more beautifully than Laura did in her book, Cultivate. But it's a common metaphor in the sense that there's both the idea of massive action and passive action. You both have to take action steps, such as tilling the soil, planting the seeds, watering, etc., getting your hands dirty, so to speak. And then you have to wait, you have to give it up, you have to surrender, you have to have that expectant anticipation and the knowing that sooner or later you're gonna have these full beautiful blooms, or you're gonna have these gorgeous vegetables, whatever you're growing. And in the middle of planting the seeds and the beautiful finished product, you have that awkward growing phase where you start seeing the seedlings breaking out of the soil and breaking out of their shell, and it looks awkward because it's not the finished product, but you still keep holding space and you hold the vision, and eventually you end up where you need to go. And so I think that's why reading Laura's book and also using her system, she has a system called the Power Sheets, which is a way to cultivate your goals over a long period of time through taking small, consistent action steps on a monthly basis, weekly basis, and daily basis. And in using this system, again, like I said at the top of the video, it's the first time ever that I still not only am going strong 6 weeks into the year, but I'm actually picking up momentum. And I know I'm not the only one, because there's a whole community of women out there that really do love the Power Sheets and Laura's work in general. But in terms of this particular video, one lightning bolt that's kind of gone off in my head is that in kind of glamorizing instant dramatic results, I've always put so much pressure on myself in the past there has been no concept of the passive action of surrendering to something bigger, whatever that is. You don't have to be spiritual for this. If you don't believe in God, but you've at any point in your life resonated with somebody's story of doing a lot of work behind the scenes before getting their lucky break one day, or you resonate with the quote, luck equals preparation meeting opportunity, then this still works for you, because the luck aspect of the equation is out of our control. But in thinking we have to do it all ourselves, and that we have to do it all ourselves immediately, that is an enormous amount of pressure that we're placing on ourselves. And it's no wonder that nothing as dramatic as we want happens as quickly as we want, and then we give up. But ironically, surrendering our goal after we've taken some steps, consider that that could actually be so much more empowering. And the reason I have found that is because if I know the entire blooming of the flower is not up to me, but it is up to me to plant the seed, to till the soil, and to water it. I'm not really a gardener, so I'm sure there's other steps in there too. But if I know, listen, it's not up to me to actually grow this plant, but I have to take the steps to create the environment where the plant will grow. What I have found is that I take those action steps with a new kind of earnestness, and I really commit myself 100% to doing that subset of actions with my whole heart, because I know I'm going to step back and let things grow in their own time after that. So it actually has been a lot more empowering than thinking I'm going to do this all myself and then burning out. And I wanted to talk about that in this video because it's a different way to think about things, because I think at first blush, it seems like doing it all yourself is the most empowering thing to do, and surrendering progress can seem disempowering. And I've actually found the opposite. So once again, even if you have abandoned whatever New Year's resolutions or intentions you had 6 weeks ago, I invite you to think, okay, was I shouldering too much of the burden on my own? And if so, what are the steps that are actually up to me? What is the equivalent of me tilling the soil, planting the seed, and watering my garden? What is the equivalent of that? And after what point do I step back and kind of let the plant do its own thing? I'm going to probably explore this a little bit more and flesh it out more in future videos, but that's pretty much all I wanted to say here today. I hope this helped some of you. And in the meantime, thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day here with me today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.